All right, guys, what's up? It's Tarian here. Today I'm joined by PDT. I want to say PDT.
Hey man, thanks for having me on.
Today we're going to talk about something really exciting going on the SWG Legends server. We've got a show match between Team USA versus Team the World in Battlefields. So this is going to be an 8v8 competitive match between players from the United States versus players from all around the world. So we're going to be breaking down the rough draft of the teams that we were shown today, and PDT is going to be giving some commentary, and I'll kind of supplement that. And we're going to be going through these players that are probably going to be facing off in this match. So PDT, let's talk. Let's start talking about these teams. So let's talk about the matchup. So first, we're going to talk about BH. So Munchma and Mace. That's probably going to be the BHs on both teams. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, yeah, really interesting matchup here, especially because I've played with Munchma. As some of you guys have watched, Munchma was on the COA team for the Battlefield tournament that just ended, and really he was kind of like rookie of the year as far as the tournament went. I mean, some crazy good dyers. He knows when to push out. I don't have much experience with Mace. I know he plays, and I know he's decent. I just think Munchma is a very, very, very good newcomer to Battlefield. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Munchma was on the winning team in the tournament earlier in the spring/summer. And yeah, he got a bunch of crazy dives. He came out with a huge fire. Super solid player. I've played with him a lot as well. It's a great guy. Mace, I would say let's not sleep too much on Mace because I think Mace has been kind of tearing up the BH scene in the last like 2-3 months over in the BH Discord, or not BH Discord, the BF Discord. It's a Scandinavian player, pretty solid. I think he plays Carbine BH, which is kind of unorthodox. Decent player, not too bad. I think this will be a pretty competitive matchup between the two of them.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what happens. I know Munchma is a much more traditional build out,
Yeah.
but Carbine has its place, right? I mean, it does have a lot of damage, so we'll see. This is going to be definitely a battlefield, a game of inches, as they say.
Right.
So 100k, 200k difference in damage could make all the world difference.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you feel
So
about
what do we got
the
on Smuggler?
So for Smuggler, we've got Rude and Weasel so far. However, Weasel and Hasher are kind of like listed as being potential smugglers and potential officers. So we'll go with assuming that it could be either Weasel or Hasher on Smuggler for Team World, whereas Rude most likely Smuggler for Team USA. How do you feel about that matchup?
Well, first of all, I think Weasel would probably be best served on Smuggler or BH. I think that what they're thinking is they probably want Weasel on Smuggler because he calls. He calls a lot. He's good at calling. He's done it. He's done it a lot over the last couple of years. So having a strong caller can always make or break a team. So
Right.
having him on Smuggler is good. Well, here's the thing: you look at the other side. Rude's like I think one of the best callers in the game. His cadence, how he talk down to you and make you feel like an idiot, makes you really want to like follow him. It sounds kind of it sounds kind of opposite to logic, but it really does make people follow him and
Right.
witnessing him play in the Rat Discord and the faction fields that happened about a year ago. I know he's a very capable caller, and he's just as good of a smuggler as he is a caller. So, really good matchup here. I think Rude probably has a little bit more experience with like competitive gaming, but Weasel is like a really solid player. So, both sides that have good players on this one.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I definitely think Weasel is not a player to sleep on, but Rude definitely he has been he's been doing battlefields for a long time, very competitively. He's got a whole lot more experience in this sort of environment. But Weasel, he's been getting a lot of reps in. Ever since I started playing BFs on Legends, Weasel's almost always there. He's there all the time. So definitely a very
Yeah,
solid, very
exactly. Yeah.
consistent, yeah, sort of player.
Well, here's the thing: is Rude is kind of washed right now, right? I mean, he hasn't. Like we saw it in the COA Rat like tournament final. Like COA had been playing a lot. They've been getting a lot of practices, a lot of reps together, and they came out swinging. And the Rat team, like as good as they are, they just hadn't played in a while, and it showed. Like you do collect rust in this
Right.
game if you haven't played in a while. So we'll see. Rude can get really aggressive, and if he doesn't have the horsepower behind him, it could be like bad for the team. But oh my god, if the team is following him and it has the assist and the damage required, like that's a really good assist there.
Absolutely. So
What do we got on Mando?
for Commando, we've got two Mandos on each team. We've got Wreck-It and Flint Beastwood for Team USA, and then we've got Mersey and Squashy for Team World. How do you feel about these four players?
See, this is so Recut and Flint were both on the COA team, and they both played Mando. So that is a kind of like I think an unbeatable trio there. We had Nemu as well, and Nemu was just as he was interchangeable with these guys, but man, they know how to stand in the front and they know how to pump damage and they know how to like basically squeeze all of their health out. They can soak up a lot of damage and keep the damage off of other players on the team. So I really don't think that anyone's topping the Recut Flint combo there.
Right. Well, how do you feel about the World's Mando, Squashy and Mersey? How do you feel about that lineup for Commando?
Yeah, I don't have much experience with either. Like, I know Squashy and I know Mersey. Like, it's I can't tell you the last time I like played with them both as Mandos. I mean, if one Mando's really good and the other one's bad, it really kind of cancels out. And I don't think that they're both bad. So we should see some good synergy there. It's just if Recut and Flint can keep them down, like and keep that pressure on the world team, I don't see how you beat that squad there. We'll see. That's my first like definitive. Oh man, I think they've got the edge here. That's just a really good duo there.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, Wreck-It and Flint, they were on the winning team for CUA, and they're very experienced commandos. Wreck-It especially, very, very veteran commando. He's been playing commando for years. And, Flint pumps crazy damage. I think Squashy and Mersey, very much like Mace, like in recent months, they've been doing a lot of BFs, and they've been playing, I would say, very well with a lot of the people that are in there. Mersey plays a lot of different classes, and so does Squashy. They're very flexible. Squashy's a good officer. He's a good medic. Solid on a lot of roles. But Mando is definitely probably his strongest. Mersey, he would probably say medic is his strongest role, but I actually think Mando is probably his strongest role. So this will be a good opportunity for them to kind of like match up against two very veteran Mandos on a role that I think they're both very competent in. So I think it'll be a good matchup.
Yeah.
But I would agree. I would say USA probably has the slight edge here.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting, and we're about to talk about Officer, and Officer is a total toss up, and we'll get to that when we cross that bridge. But this is an opportunity for Squashy and Mersey to really like come out and shine, right? Like you out damage, you beat like Recut and Flint. Well, you're kind of the undisputed like BF Mando people on the server. So
right.
It's definitely a good opportunity for them.
Yeah,
what else do we got here? We got Officer next.
Yeah, so next we have Officer. So we have Granadino and myself, Telrain on USA, and then versus G's and Hasher on the World. So how do you feel about this?
Oh man, the two names that's the one name that really sticks out to me right here is Hasher, right? Like he does commando damage on an officer, and he's pretty good on runs. Like every once in a while he'll misstep or something, but that's pretty normal for anybody that plays officer. Sometimes you override or you die with your scatter up or something like that. But he's just a really solid fundamental officer, and now he's like really perfected his like volley game and the amount of damage he can get out. So Hasher is like the one that stands out. Here's the thing, Jeez is really good too. So Jeez is definitely a 1v1 kind of more skill player, right? He pops all of his buffs. He knows how to line of sight. He knows how to play in a team. I played with Jeez on multiple occasions on the COA team, and then on COA's 5v5 team a couple of years ago, and he knows his role and he plays it really well. So and his damage isn't half bad either. So I think Jeez could be a very, very vital key to the world team as well. But if we switch over to you and Gran, look, these are two guys that have been playing officer just as long as Jeez and Hasher. I think Granadino is one of the best like all-around players in the game. Like he can play a bunch of professions really well.
Right.
You can throw him in on like everything, and he's really good. And you are like an officer main, and like you haven't been playing as long, but you're definitely on that competitive level now. So the thing is like, do you see as an officer, like, say you get diffed, right? Let's just say, as an example, you get diffed. Does that really hurt the team as much as staying alive and feeding action?
Right.
Is it that detrimental?
So, in my opinion, as an officer, and I know Gran and G's share this opinion as well, like you're a green bar medic in a lot of ways with outside of SFP. So I think that what this is really going to come down to with the officers is how they position and what their damage taken is going to look like. On top of what they get off during their SFP volleys, like are they going to be able to capitalize on the traps? And I think all four of the officers here are able to capitalize on traps well with SFP. So I think it's really going to come down to who can stay alive, who can keep the runs going, who can pump the action going.
Yeah.
And I know G's.
Yeah, because it's not a traditional.
Okay.
G's is very good at it, and it's not a traditionally like, it's not a damage profession. There's just so much more utility than just damage.
Right.
So like I think, especially on our side, on the USA side, as long as Recut and Flint have the action, and me and Teflon have the action, like we can make up for Hasher's insane damage.
Right.
Right. Like so that's. It really, I think it'll come down to the utility. Who's utilizing their utility better, right?
Yeah. And I think Hasher, like we were saying, like he does a lot of damage, and I think he does enough damage to where his damage might outweigh his lack of utility, because he's a good player, but I know like he builds way more offense, like in his 35s and everything, in his pups and whatnot. Like he is way more of an offensive based officer. That it's going to really come down to, can his offense outweigh the defense that we'll probably be seeing from the USA officers? You know what I mean? That'll be kind of decided.
It's kind of a yin and a yang thing, and we'll see how that plays out. I'm really interested to see that matchup, because it's USA's got two really, really, really solid officers. I mean, arguably like two of the best officers in the game, and then the world does too, but they're kind of on a different they're on a different wavelength. They operate a little differently. They play the profession a little differently. So it'll be interesting to see what works better.
Right. So let's move on to medic, the final profession we're going to talk about here. So for USA, we've got you and Teflon, PDT, and against on the world team we have Blastro and Carnivore. So as a medic main, how do you feel about this matchup right here?
Good. It's Blastro and Carnivore are good medics, and me and Teflon have been playing together for years at this point. We've done a lot of battlefields, and it's kind of a running joke between us, like, oh, we're kind of the dynamic duo, like we're undefeated. Obviously we've lost battlefields together as medic, but the Teflon and I are very complementary, and what you want to see in two medics are two complementary medics.
Right.
You want to see one that's a little bit more offensive, that can get out the dooms, can run the assist a little bit more tightly, and then you want to see one that's kind of more like is primary heals. They spray first, they bomb first, they res first, they use blood cleansers first. So me and Teflon have really slotted ourselves into that role, and we don't even have to talk about it. We know exactly what each other is going to do every single time. Like I can almost predict when he's going to spray, and vice versa. So that is just like that's hard to overcome. Here's the thing. Blastro is like an amazing player, right? I mean, he's kind of a freak. He's really good at all of his professions. He's a lot like Granadino in that respects. Like any profession he plays, he's kind of at the top. He's a very good medic, and he can Doom as well. So he kind of matches me on the Doom spectrum. And Carnivore, God, he just put up 3.6 million healing like yesterday in a battlefield. So he can definitely do the secondary healing, or the primary healing, excuse me, as more of a main medic. So this is a very good matchup between the four of us. And I think it'll come down to experience. And me and Teflon have played a lot of battlefields together, so I think that'll be pretty beneficial for us. What do you think?
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, you and Teflon, you guys played a lot of BS together. You know, like you said, and you guys have a lot of like synergy working together. Whereas Blastro, you know, like Blastro is just kind of a beast on whatever he touches, and then Carnivore has just been putting out crazy healing numbers. So I think it's gonna be really interesting to see like how y'all's synergy can combat their like kind of their raw skill. Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see. And I think it'll be pretty evenly matched. I think of all the matchups here that we've seen, the officers and the medics are probably the most like competitively matched, in my opinion. I don't know how you feel, but I would say that those are like the two most competitive roles right there.
Yeah, and you know, funny enough, they're some of the most important too. So it should be a good battlefield. Like I think Team USA has a little bit of an edge, because I mean, God, if you look at this team, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these guys are on the incumbent victorious team from the last Battlefield tournament. Right. So and everybody else was on the other team. You know?
Right, yeah, so exactly. Like this is all just Rat and COA pretty much from the last tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you know, like and Blaster was on Rat 2, and G's was on COA, and you know, Hasher was on C, and they did very good in the tournament as well. And I think Carnivore was on C as well. So you know, I'm gonna guess it's a best 2 out of 3, right? I'm guessing it's going to be USA 2, the world 1.
Okay.
For my prediction.
So
what do you think?
I think I agree. Yeah, I think it'll go to a game 3 situation. Answer me this. So like if these two teams played 10 games against each other, how many do you think USA would win, and how many do you think the world would win? That's, I think, a more interesting question in my opinion.
That's a good. It's interesting. Well, part of me wants to be like, well, you usually get worse. You don't get better. You know, your halftime adjustments are usually worse. Like a lot of the times, like people come out with their best team right off the bat, and you know they get beat. Their team comes back and they're like, okay, we need to change this, and this. They usually don't change it for the better. It usually is like a kind of a not a detriment, but I'm lost for words right now, but you know, I think Team USA is probably winning 6 of them, 7 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just they've got a lot of experience, man, on that team. Like that is a very experienced team, and the Euro team is very good too. And you know, I would like to remind everybody, this is not their final. The Team USA is set in stone, but the world is not. So they could pull out some crazy, you know, dig some amazing players out of the grave or something like that and come swinging. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think the world definitely could shake some things up. I mean, this team they've got is pretty good. I would probably agree with you. Like, USA's probably winning 6 or 7 out of 10, most likely. Who are some players from the world that you think they could pull out, maybe from the bench or from, you know, out of left field to put on their roster? Like, who are some picks that you would say they could implement?
Two immediately come to mind. You've got Kras, right? Kras was an incredibly valuable player for the Team COA in the last Battlefield tournament, and you've got Rahak. Both of them were on Team COA, and Rahak is here's the thing. Rahak wouldn't have a place on this team because they have 2 officers already, right? And you know, you get to a certain level, it's kind of interchangeable. Kras could definitely prop up this team a little bit more with his calling ability and his smuggler ability. Right. He's a very, very, very good smuggler, and he's a very good bounty hunter too. Hell, he can even play officer. So having Kras on that team would probably be my first choice. and then Rahawk is second. Who do you? I'm trying to think. Do you have anyone else that comes to mind?
The only ones I could think of that come to mind are like, yeah, Rahawk, Kraz, Isida technically counts because he's from Canada.
Yeah, he's Canadian.
Yep, and then maybe Memph. Memph's not too bad. He's a solid player.
Mim. Yeah.
I
Mim.
definitely. Oh, go ahead.
Mim for like a Shriek. I don't think Shriek is. He hasn't played in a while, so he's probably not on this level anymore. But yeah, Mimp would be a good one on Medic, and trying to think of who else.
That would be really good for them because they could move some people around, right? So, like, say for example, like you get Memph on Medic, that means you got Blaster on Mando, right? Now you've got we'll put them here. You know, you've got Blaster on Medic. Let's say they get Crass, right? So they've got Crass, Smuggler. Even if they got Rawhawk on Officer, Hasher can play Mando. You know, like that's like let's say you move this around, you do something like this right here. Like this is already like this is an extremely scary team right here. You know, like
that's a good team. Yeah, definitely. I would keep Hasher on Officer no matter what, just because he does so much damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then put Crass on like maybe a Smuggler, and then move Weasel to like BH. And that's not because Mace is bad. That's just I've seen Weasel play a lot more, so he's a much more known number to me than Mace is. But
you could even do something like this. You know, you could put Hatcher back on Officer, and then you could have G's play BH because he's a good BH too. He's not BH.
Yeah. I mean, he knows the movement. Yeah. So I mean, these are all like really
interchangeable.
These are all good teams. Yeah, these are all really good teams. I'm trying to think of anyone else that might be like some of those COG guys. A lot of them haven't played in a while, but Stez was really good.
Yep.
Squashy's a COG. Yeah. Squashy's a COG guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's from COG.
Yeah. Who?
Fox.
Man, I'm trying to think. I just can't. Fox, yeah, Fox would. He's actually from the United States. Everyone thinks he's Australian,
but yeah. I think he lives in Canada or something now. So maybe he would count.
Oh, does he?
Well, because they don't let you into COG if you're not from the British Commonwealth. So he's got to be from one of those, or he's got to be living at least in one of those places to get in the guild.
Okay.
So
yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, those COG guys are all really, really solid. I mean, really good HUD players too. And then you've got all your plethora of C players as well. You've got Carnivore's like MDH or MHD or whatever, but I think he's really more of a C player now.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Eloise, you've got Kawookie, you've got Hasher,
right.
Got Flashback. You've got a lot of really good, Caporal players, Chaparral players. I think is their like guild name, but
yeah,
it's a good team. It's a really good team. I think what's interesting is I think they all, both the U.S. and the world, have about the same amount of PvPers. The Europeans per capita, I think they like to play like Battlefields and PvP more than the U.S. guys do.
Yeah, honestly, like there's way more, I would say, activity in the EU time than there is in A time these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah, we got to get CHC off their ass and come do some Battlefields, or else.
Some of them have been out there. I've seen a couple CHC guys pop up in the Discord. So.
Yeah, because like, dude, I mean, I know Lovelight's left CHC, but he was like originally CHC. He's a great medic. Somebody like that, and like like a lot of these guys, they do one or two Battlefields, and they're like, oh, I get the pace, I get the cadence, I get the positioning, and they get a lot better. So I'd love to see CHC out there and join some of these USA versus the Worlds. But you have anything else to add?
Not really. I mean, this is like kind of sums up my thoughts just going over this. I definitely want to see what these teams look like by the end of the week when this actually happens, because this is going to happen this upcoming Sunday, I believe. So some things might move around, but I feel like at least for USA, this is pretty set in stone. And then the world, this might shake up a bit, which would be really interesting. But that's all I got. Unless you got anything else you want to add.
No, I think this is a good start to the teams, and hopefully we see more of these kind of events in the future. And to anybody that wants to ever participate in this kind of stuff, hop in the Battlefield Discord. Everyone in there is like incredibly nice and helpful, and like it's a great way to like kind of learn a new part of the game. You know, immerse yourself in a different kind of a different group of people, and it's a lot of fun, especially recently, man. The amount of battlefields that have been going on are nuts.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy. There's so many. It's awesome, really.
yeah,
So there's no better
cool.
time to get into BFs than right now, I would say. So
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's arguably the golden age of battlefields. I mean, like it's every other day I see like a 14v14,
right.
and it's like, oh my god, where is this coming from? You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of new blood, a lot of new excitement, a lot of new energy that's been flooded into the game, and it's yeah. I also think this is probably the longest lasting Battlefield server or Discord in my like 9 years of playing Legends. So it's definitely outlived all the other BF Discords, and I think that's just because like the community's kind of mellowed out a little bit,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
So everyone's a little bit more helpful. Like they kind of realize that okay, this game isn't. If you're a dick to everybody, like this community is gonna, just fall to ashes, in no time. So,
right.
Yeah, it's definitely a good group of people. Everyone's really nice, and so. Anyways, I'll catch you later, Tellerrain, and I'll see you on the battlefield.
Yeah, I'll see you out there, dude. Y'all, I appreciate anybody watching, and make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you later.